really have to do this back plate, but the only reason I am is because there's a little bit of sediment on it from the last, excuse me, from the previous build. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up anyways, make sure I don't have to deal with it. Wish I had another scrap magazine to use. No scrap magazine, but I did old news there. Away. Alright. That way the wife doesn't yell at me for screwing the counters. Same thing with this UHMW block that I've got here. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up just because of the fact that you can see all the crap that has been on it from the previous build. I don't really have, this is another thing I don't have to clean. The solution is not going to be touching this in any way, shape, or form. But I'm also doing it just also for appearances as well. As you'll see in the very next part that I'm going to pull off, the gasket. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. I can't get rid of it. The gasket that goes between this and the very last plate is solid. It is not a hollow gasket. So, like I said, I don't have to do that cleaning, but I wanted to anyways to make sure everything was clean when I put it back together. No chances of contaminating from holding it and then touching the plate later. Now with this PVC sheeting, it does get a little more flexible when it warms up, so that's the only concern that I'm going to have. When the cell finds its operating temperature, but on the good note, I can also use that to my advantage while assembling it, so it's more flexible and easier to keep flat. That's part of the problem. Alright, I'm going to take this assembly out as a whole piece because I want to get to this other spacer. This spacer is actually the one that all the fluid goes through because of the fact that it's got the holes. The plates, as you've seen in the grinding video, have slots up on the top, not holes in the corners. So I've been talking to one of the machinists up at work. I'm not a machinist, although I used to do that kind of work. However, I do know some guys up there at work that can help me out. I'm going to cut a very small channel slot on the top to match the channel in the plates, and then that channel will be all the way through the plate, or all the way through this UHMW block. The holes that match up to the end plate right here, the holes in the corners, those are what those are for. So what I'm going to end up doing is, on the port side of this block, I'm going to also do a channel, not all the way through it, but just deep enough to capture the water from the ports and then push it through the slotted channel instead of through the holes. It's going to take a little bit of work, I know. I'm going to have to figure out some way of sealing these 4 holes up after I get everything, before or after I get everything done. I'm not sure. I might just say the heck with it and get some new block anyway, since this stuff is technically too small. But that's going to be probably later after a while. I pulled the plates out and the other block out because I wanted to go ahead and clean this real quick so that I've got a clean place to put these plates without having to touch them a whole lot again in a bit. Go ahead and clean this plates out real quick, or clean this frame out real quick, and then get started on the plates and the rest of the gaskets. I still have the wooden spacers that I created when I was up there in Montana for keeping the plates away from the threaded rod. I might go ahead and stop the video for a split second, just long enough for me to go in the garage and grab them and bring them out here so you guys can see how I'm going to use those in the assembly process, and then also how it's going to look after it's complete. Alright. Looks like I'm going to have to move my set of plates here. Like that bottom gasket's really stopping the water from flowing out. There we go. Alright, bring this side real quick. Now this threaded rod that's in this end plate, it's not simply bolted in. It is also thread locked with blue Loctite. So, and I've also got it so it's flush with the threaded rod is flush with the end plates. Or with the outside of the end plate, so I don't have to worry about it causing any clearance issues or anything like that. This is the gasket that goes between the UHMW block and the compression frame. I've got the holes cut in it for the 4 holes in the corners, but when I do when I change it over to the slots, I'll end up having to I'll have to make channels in that gasket as well, like everything else. And as you can see, this stuff just comes right off. It's just all it is the garbage that everybody else gets in their cells when they're doing the cleaning process. Nothing serious. I will probably throw the sponge away though, because I don't think I want any of that stuff touching the dishes. And I'm sure the wife would freak out if she'd been here and seen this, and she'll probably freak out if she sees the video. You know how wives are. I can't believe you used my stuff for that. Alright, let's just put it right in the bed while let's do it. Alright. We will pre-soak these plates in a little bit of dish soap. And I'm about to stop the video so I can grab those wooden plates. Don't really want to suds it up all, just so you guys can see what's in what's in the water. I just want to get some soap in there to help cut the garbage that's on the plates. before I actually go ahead and wash it with my hand. I want to go ahead and let these plates soak in the hot water as well, so I can help soften these gaskets up a bit. Make it easier for getting it sewed together. Now, I have thought about using passivation in the process of doing this, but I think I'm going to hold up on using that process because a couple people I've heard talk about it immediately converting the one type of hydrogen to the other type. Converting the high energy type to the low energy type. The two phrases escape me. It's para and ortho, but I don't remember which one's which at the top right now. So.